Imagine a humanity that never closes its eyes. There are no pillows, no yawns heavy as lead, no fragile hours of dreams. Cities do not dim. Conversations do not break. Minds never surrender to the dark. In this alternate world, humans are perpetual engines of waking consciousness. Every heartbeat is lived in full awareness. Every second, a chance for creation, conflict, or wonder. Our Earth today is built on sleep. 8 hours of rest divides every day. Economies, families, and even language bend around it. We dream, we heal, we remember. But what if all that was unnecessary? What if from the very first Homo sapiens to walk the savannah, sleep had been absent from our design? No weariness pulling us into silence. No nightly curtain. This is the story of a sleepless species. We will follow their biology, tuned to an unbroken flow of time. We will watch their civilizations, freed from the rhythm of night. We will explore the price they pay when a world without sleep must learn what it means to live without dreams. In our timeline, sleep is a negotiation between body and brain. Neurons demand time to reset. Proteins fold. Memories consolidate. But in this alternate world, biology found another route. The sleepless human is born with a brain that repairs itself in motion. Instead of nightly clearance, waste proteins are dissolved continuously by a hyperactive glymphatic system. Neurons refresh during micropauses of thought, imperceptible to the conscious mind. The circadian rhythm survives, but without unconsciousness. Hormones rise and fall, not to knock us out, but to sharpen and soften attention. Cortisol and melatonin still pulse, but now they sculpt moods instead of sleep. The body becomes a master of maintenance. DNA repair enzymes run on perpetual cycles. Mitochondria swap out damaged parts like mechanics in constant relay. Muscles recover while walking. Wounds knit even as hands continue to labor. The immune system never loses its night shift. Infancy is transformed. Babies no longer scream at 3 a.m. They are always alert, always seeking. Mothers never collapse in exhaustion, but they must feed and soothe without respite. Childhood education becomes relentless. Learning never pauses. And by age 10, sleepless children may carry the knowledge base of our world's teenagers. Puberty shifts as well. Without sleep's moody fog, adolescence becomes a firestorm of constant energy. Risk-taking, creativity, rebellion, everything burns longer. Societies invent rituals to channel it. Week-long marathons of dance, philosophy contests under endless firelight, military drills that test not stamina, but patience. Psychology adapts. The sleepless brain develops micro-rest phases, seconds of inward silence when attention dips. These moments, invisible to the outside, provide enough respite to stabilize sanity. Yet the lack of dreams has consequences. Memory is perfect, but raw. Trauma is indelible. Joys are never blurred by forgetting. Minds carry everything, always awake. Some adapt by weaving rituals of imagination. Shamans and poets invent waking dreams, guided trances through music and rhythm, mimicking what sleep once gave us. Across cultures, hallucinogens and chanting become universal, because without natural dreams, the species hungers for visions. The sleepless body is not healthier, it is simply tireless. Age comes sooner. Brains never rest. Cells burn faster. Lifespans shorten by a decade compared to ours. But across every moment of that life, a human lives in full awareness. To live 50 years awake is to experience what our kind might take 75 years to consume. Without sleep, human settlements do not divide into day and night. The first villages are never quiet. Fires burn in rings around the clock. Hunters return at midnight, and find smiths already hammering. Children run, while elders weave baskets at dawn. Time is no longer circular, but linear, progression without pause. Calendars evolve differently. Weeks and hours are meaningless without the break of night. Instead, societies measure time by the pulse, the body's natural hormonal cycles of energy and calm. Every 12 hours, people feel a wave of sharpness. Every 12, a lull. Civilizations count not days, but pulses. Industry ignites centuries earlier. With 24 usable hours, stone is carved faster, irrigation channels dug deeper, pyramids raised without the rest our ancestors required. Knowledge accumulates with shocking speed. By the time our Rome would have risen, this world has already charted the stars and built machines of bronze that mimic modern engines. Armies become monstrous. Soldiers march indefinitely, rotating tasks, but never halting for sleep. Sieges are constant. Defenders and attackers duel without nightfall reprieve. War becomes a theater of attrition not in weeks, but in hours. Empires can expand with terrifying speed. Religion bends under sleepless skies. Deities are no longer gods of dawn or dusk, but keepers of phases, lords of the hormone tides. Rituals are built around intervals of clarity and fatigue, the high pulses and low pulses. Temples glow with constant light. Priests chant without end. Festivals stretch for 10 pulses, 20 pulses, days in our reckoning, but unbroken to them. By the industrial age, metropolises blaze without interruption. Streets are lit with constant flame, then with electricity. Workers run factories in rotating pulses, not shifts. Art never sleeps. Symphonies are composed in 30-hour stretches, novels dictated in a single sitting. But strain builds. Without the natural pause of sleep, societies invent artificial rest. In the great city of auroras, plazas are built for silent hours, where citizens lie still in darkness, not asleep, but choosing silence to mimic it. Theaters offer dream plays, immersive illusions where audiences drift into visions, eyes open but minds entranced. Economies swell, but inequality deepens. The wealthy purchase time in vision chambers, bathing in chemicals and light patterns that induce dreamlike hallucinations. The poor remain perpetually awake, working in mines and fields, with no reprieve from reality. Social revolutions rise from this divide, the sleepless rebellions, where laborers demand not shorter hours but access to dreams. A species without sleep advances quickly, but a silence grows beneath it. Without dreams, art is factual, but bloodless. Music is precise, but lacks mystery. Paintings are vivid, but not surreal. Philosophy explains, but it rarely wonders. The dreamless humanity becomes powerful, but hungers for imagination. Neuroscientists search for substitutes. They map the pulses of the brain, finding ways to induce waking hallucinations. Machines called reverie engines flood the cortex with controlled illusions. For the first time, the sleepless humans see visions like ours, flying without wings, speaking with the dead, entering impossible landscapes. They weep because they did not know what they had missed. Yet problems remain. Memory, without forgetting, becomes unbearable. Crimes are remembered forever, grudges eternal, grief unhealed. Nations fracture under the weight of histories no one can soften with the balm of sleep. Therapies emerge, curated forgetting, deliberate erasure of memory by electric currents, offered as mercy. To live awake is to live scarred, unless one learns to release. Art transforms. Writers and composers fuse relentless awareness with artificial dreams, birthing masterpieces of complexity. Cities build dream towers, vertical libraries of simulated visions where citizens climb to experience new hallucinations. For the first time, sleepless humanity touches something close to our dream-born creativity. But evolution cannot be tricked. Lifespans remain short. A society awake every second lives twice as long in experience, but half as long in years. Old age comes like a thunderclap, sudden and complete. Elders are revered not for wisdom collected in quiet nights, but for sheer volume of experience, stories lived in endless day. And so the sleepless species learns its paradox. What it gained in productivity, it lost in mystery. What it built in hours, it weakened in poetry. Only when they rediscovered the art of dreams, artificial, fragile, but luminous, did they reclaim a missing piece of their humanity? I leave you with an image. A sleepless city. Towers glowing, markets bustling, streets alive at every moment. And at the center, a theater where thousands gather, eyes wide open, yet dreaming together. A dream not born of sleep, but of invention. Proof that even in a world without night, the human heart still longs for stars it cannot touch. If you never needed to sleep, what would you do with the extra time? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to say where you're watching from.